97% of women over 50 miss the exact moment when a man starts to feel something for them. Not because you are unaware, distracted, or out of touch, but because the signs do not look like they used to. He is not going to lean in with a sly wink and say, "You're beautiful." He is not likely to clearly say, "I like you," or ask in a bold voice, "Can I buy you a drink?" Instead, he might say something gentle, ordinary, almost forgettable. On the surface, it feels like small talk, but underneath, it carries meaning. It is a quiet door opening, and if you do not step through it, that door will close just as softly as it opened. This is how chances quietly disappear. You walk away thinking, "He seemed nice." He walks away thinking, "I guess she wasn't interested." You did nothing wrong. You simply missed the moment because you did not see what he was really trying to say beneath his words. What I want to talk about with you are the quiet, non-obvious questions men ask when they feel interest, but are not ready to fully reveal themselves. These questions sound casual, light, even harmless, but they carry emotion underneath. I want to walk you through 8 kinds of these questions and how you can respond in a way that shows openness and presence without sounding needy and without jumping to conclusions. After 50, most women do not need to push harder. You just need to notice more clearly. Once you start seeing these small openings, you begin to catch signals that used to slip past you. You start to hear warmth in places you used to call just small talk. You begin to feel attraction in moments that once felt unimportant or routine. This is mature attraction. It moves softly. It hides inside kindness and good manners, but it is there. Let's start with one question that sounds simple, but is one of the quietest ways a man checks the emotional temperature. When a man asks, "How old are you really?" he is not just looking for a number. He already knows you are not 30. He is not only asking to joke around, he wants to understand something deeper. He wants to see how you carry your age. Do you hold it with ease? Do you feel at home in it? Do you still feel alive inside it? Or do you treat it like something you need to hide? He is watching to see if you own your age. Your answer gives him far more information than any birth date. If you laugh in a strained way, avoid the question, or make a tired joke about getting old, he may still smile. But inside, something changes. Because what he is really searching for is not youth. He is looking for a woman who feels present in her own life. The women who shine at this stage are not trying to erase time. They are the ones who can answer with simple calm and a little spark. Something like, "Old enough to know what I want and young enough to still want it." Or, "Do you want my age or my energy?" Answers like that show comfort, quiet confidence, and openness without trying too hard. There was a woman in her. Early 60s, graceful, warm, with a soft but magnetic presence. She told a story about meeting a man at a music event in the park. He was kind, relaxed, with a gentle smile. After they talked for a bit, he asked, "So how old are you really?" She smiled, half laughed, and said, "Old enough to know better than to answer that the first time we meet." He laughed, but something shifted that she could not name. Later she said, "I thought I was being clever, but I think I missed something." And she had. Because these gentle questions are not just words. They are tests and invitations at the same time. When you meet them with avoidance, tension, or shame, even if he says nothing, he feels it. Here is what is really going on. As we age, we do not only collect years, we also collect fears. The fear of not being seen anymore, the fear of not being desired, the fear of not being chosen. Men can sense that energy when they ask these questions. They are quietly checking, are you still alive inside? Do you believe you are worthy of being noticed, wanted, and loved? So the next time someone asks, how old are you really? Do not shrink, do not hide, and do not make yourself small. Let it be a real moment. If he is asking, it means some level of interest is already there. There is already a spark. Your answer either feeds that spark or lets it go out. Another question that often surprises women is, why aren't you married? At first it can sound rude, mosey, or too personal, but listen to how he asks it. If his tone is gentle, curious, and kind, not sharp, not judging, he is not criticizing your past. He is quietly wondering if there could be a place for him in your future. He is not asking for a full history of every relationship you have had. He just wants to feel whether your heart is still open or if it has quietly closed. This is where many women, without meaning to, send the wrong signal. Some start explaining everything. Old heartbreaks, what went wrong, every disappointment. Others become defensive and say things like, marriage didn't work for me, or I'm done with that. What they rarely see is that both paths send the same message, I'm not open, or I am still weighed down by the past. What he really wants to feel is not your detailed story. He wants to feel your peace. He wants to see whether you speak about your life with softness and room for something new. A gentler answer works better. Something like, life just turned out differently, but I'm open now. Or, I was waiting for the right person. That is enough. That tells him there is space. There was a woman in her mid-60s who met a man in a casual class. After a few meetings full of easy talk and laughter, he quietly asked, how is someone like you not married? She froze, laughed in an uneasy way, and quickly changed the subject. He never came back. Later, she realized he was not questioning her past choices. He was imagining some kind of future. That is the quiet truth in these moments. They do not come with a big sign. They arrive in normal talk. And if you miss them, they fade just as quietly. When a man asks something like that, it is because he already feels something. He is testing the water gently, hoping you will open the door a little before he risks more. If your answer carries warmth and simple openness, he feels it at once. It tells him she is not just single, she is actually available. That difference is everything. Another subtle question is, do you date younger men? Some women feel flattered, others feel suspicious, and start wondering what he really wants. But what is happening is simple. He is trying to figure out where he stands without fully exposing himself. He is wondering, could I be someone she might consider? He is not really asking about your whole history. He is asking about his chances. Many women shut this down without realizing it. They say, I don't date younger men, or joke, aren't you a little young for me? Both land like a soft rejection. A more open answer keeps the door unlocked without promising anything. You might say, I don't focus much on age. I care more about who someone is, or if the connection feels right. Age isn't the most important thing. These replies do not trap you. They just create room. And often, for a man, room is all he needs. There was a woman in her late 50s, creative and free-spirited, who met a thoughtful man about 10 years younger at an art event. After talking for a long time, he asked, would you ever date someone younger? She smiled, paused, and said, that depends on how he makes me feel. That one line changed the energy. It gave him quiet permission to lean closer. Because at this point in life, connection is not about numbers. It is about how two people match each other gently, honestly, in real time. When a man asks if you would date someone younger, he is not being bold. He is hoping you might say maybe. He is hoping for a chance. Your answer tells him whether he should keep moving toward you or quietly step back. There is another question that sounds casual but holds a lot underneath. What kind of man do you usually go for? It sounds like easy talk, but it is not. He is not asking so he can measure himself against a long list. He is asking to see if he might fit into your world at all. Some women answer by listing traits: tall, funny, successful, likes animals, adventurous. When you do that, he suddenly feels like he is auditioning for a role you have already written. It creates distance. A better way is to leave space for him instead of closing the door with details. You could say, I'm drawn to men who are steady and kind, or I care more about how someone makes me feel than whether they tick every box. When you answer from that place simple, warm, open, it allows him to picture himself beside you. That alone can shift everything. One woman in her early 60s met a man while volunteering at a community event. They talked easily. Later, while working side by side, he asked, what kind of man are you usually drawn to? She said she liked someone calm, someone whose presence made a space feel safe. He did not answer right away. But later, when most people had gone, he stayed behind to help her clean up. When she thanked him, he smiled and said he hoped he fit that description. That is the quiet power of these conversations. When you speak from who you are, instead of trying to impress, you create real connection. On a deeper level, that question is about self-selection. He is listening closely, noticing what you say and what you leave out. He is deciding whether he should move a little closer or protect his heart by stepping back. Your answer either invites him in or lets him drift away without embarrassment. So the next time a man asks what kind of man you usually like, do not describe a fantasy. Describe the feeling you want to share. If he is asking, there is a good chance he is wondering if he could be that man for you. Then there is a question that sounds playful, but is more serious than it seems. Something like, are you always this smooth? Or are you always this charming? It usually comes with a half smile or a soft laugh. It feels like light flirting, and it is, but something deeper sits under it. When a man says this, he is not just making a joke. He is recognizing the energy between you and quietly asking if you are willing to stay in that energy with him. His real question is, can you stay here with me in this spark? Can you hold this feeling without pulling away or turning it into something awkward? Many women step out of that moment without realizing it. They joke it away with something like only on special occasions or must be the mood tonight. And just like that, the little flame he offered starts to go out. A better answer is light but grounded. You might say only when someone brings it out of me, or I save that side of me for people who feel worth it. When your tone and body language say I'm here and I'm not afraid of this moment, he feels safer. He feels free to stay connected. A woman once told a story about this. She met a man at a small live music night. They talked about old songs, classic records, and memories tied to different sounds. At one point, he leaned in slightly and asked, "Are you always this charming, or is tonight special?" She smiled and replied, "That depends. Are you always this brave, or is tonight different?" She said the mood between them changed right then. The way he looked at her shifted. He no longer saw her as just someone to chat with. He saw possibility. These comments are not really about charm. They are about connection. He is offering a small bridge from friendly to flirty without putting pressure on you. Your response tells him whether you are still emotionally open or whether you have quietly shut that part of yourself down. From a psychological angle, this is a careful way for a man to show deeper interest. He is not pushing. He is knocking softly. Your job is not to entertain him. Your job is simply to stay present. So if a man asks if you are always this smooth, do not throw the moment away. Let him see that you can stand in warmth without shrinking back, especially now. Then there is the question that sounds innocent, even teasing, but often means a lot. Why don't you have a boyfriend? On the outside, it sounds casual. On the inside, it is not. When a man asks this, he is not just trying to fill silence. He is looking for hope. He wants to know if there is still room in your life that someone like him could step into. He is trying to see whether you still believe in connection, or if that door has quietly closed. Many women answer in a way that makes it sound like that door is shut. They say, "I like being on my own," or "Men are too much trouble," or "I'm very used to my independence." When he hears that, something inside him pulls back. He was not only asking if you were technically single, he was asking if your heart had space, if your emotional world is still open. If that is true for you, the best answer is one that leaves room, even if it is small. You might say, "I've been taking my time and staying open," or "I'm waiting for something that feels right." These answers invite curiosity instead of ending it. A woman in her early 70s once shared a story like this. She had a calm, grounded way about her. At an art show, a man started talking with her. After a while, he asked, "So why don't you have a boyfriend?" She looked at him and said she had been learning to love herself more deeply, and now she was ready to share that with someone else. She said he stayed close to her for the rest of the evening. That is the strength of a simple, honest answer that leaves space. Men, especially as they get older, often fear rejection very deeply, sometimes more than women. Instead of saying clearly how they feel, they ask careful questions, quiet questions, questions that seem simple but take real courage. How you respond tells them whether it is safe to take another step or whether they should protect themselves and gently withdraw. So when a man asks why you are single, do not close the door. Let him lean in a little. Let curiosity stay alive between you. Now we come to the question that takes the most courage. Would you ever go out with someone like me? This is as close as many men will come to a direct confession. When a man asks this, it might sound light or playful, but it is not a joke. He is stepping out into open space. He is not talking about some random man. He is talking about himself. This is not a game. It is a real risk. How you answer shapes how this moment will live in his memory for a very long time. Many women freeze here. They hesitate, say they are not sure, or quickly change the subject. When that happens, he pulls back, not because his interest was weak, but because he suddenly feels alone in his feeling. Your answer does not need to be clever. It just needs to be honest, grounded, and human. It needs to show that you truly see him. You might say, "I think I would be lucky if I could." Then stop. Let the moment breathe. Let the truth sink in. Let him feel the warmth behind your words instead of rushing on. There was a woman in her mid-60s, retired from a demanding job, calm and steady in her daily life. She used to walk in the park with a man she had grown close to. One evening, under a soft blue sky, he asked quietly, "Would you ever date someone like me?" She did not answer right away. She looked at him and said, "I'd be foolish not to." He did not say anything after that. He just reached for her hand and kept walking. That is what these moments ask for. Not clever lines, not performances, just truth, gentle, honest truth. On a deeper level, this is the final opening. Not a trick, not a move, a moment of connection. He is not just flirting. He is asking if he still matters. If someone like him can still wake something real in a woman like you. You are not being asked to make promises. You are simply being invited to stay fully present. So if a man asks whether you would go out with someone like him, remember what it cost him to ask. Meet that courage with kindness and honesty. He will remember that not because you chased him, but because you genuinely saw him. And sometimes the clearest signs are not spoken at all. They live in the spaces between words, in the way he looks at you when the conversation goes quiet, in the way he stays a little longer than he needs to, when there is no clear reason to stay, in the way his eyes soften when you say something small but true. Many men, especially later in life, have learned how to show interest quietly. They have learned to express care without pushing. If you are not paying attention, it is very easy to miss. Have you noticed a man leaning in just a bit when you talk, holding your gaze a second longer than necessary, smiling softly at something you said, even when you were not trying to be funny? These are not accidents. They are small offers, gentle signals meant to be felt, not overanalyzed. Then there are the physical signs. A hand resting close to yours when there is plenty of space elsewhere. Standing just a little nearer than the situation demands. Matching your body language without even knowing he is doing it. These are not loud gestures, but they are real. They are silent invitations saying, "I see you. Do you see me?" When you respond with ease, a pause, a warm smile, a little softness, you may be surprised by how much changes. Real connection does not begin with grand speeches. It begins with small acts of courage, tiny risks, quiet moments where one person says without words, "I am here," and the other person does not run away. You start to notice the details again. A look that lasts just a little longer. A body that naturally angles toward you, not away from you. A voice that shifts slightly when he says, "Your name." These are deep human signs of attraction built into us long before we learn to doubt ourselves. But as we get older, especially after loss, heartbreak, or long periods alone, we begin to question those signals. We second guess what we feel. We tell ourselves he is just being polite. But what if he is not? What if his eyes hold more than kindness? What if the way he listens is not just good manners, but real curiosity, maybe even quiet admiration? What if his steady attention is his way of saying that something in him wakes up when you appear? This is not about trying to read minds. It is about returning to presence. It is about letting yourself notice again what used to be natural before life became so heavy, so fast, so noisy. At this stage of life, attraction rarely arrives with drama. It does not shout. It moves calmly. It whispers. So here is a gentle invitation for you. The next time you are talking with a man, do not pressure yourself to say the perfect thing. Instead, really look at him. Notice how his eyes move when they meet yours. Notice if he leans closer when you speak, or if his breathing shifts a little when you are near. Ask yourself, not what should I say, but what is he already showing me? Because very often the most important signs are not in the words. They live in the pauses, in the way he does not rush to fill silence, in the way he lingers instead of leaving quickly, in those quiet moments where connection has a chance to grow. Roots. In those lingering moments, something important is happening. He is giving you time. Time is one of the quietest but strongest signs of interest. When a man does not rush away, when he stays even when the talk slows down, when he looks for small excuses to remain close to you, he is showing care without naming it. Many women mistake this calm presence for a lack of interest. They think, if he liked me, he'd be more obvious. But at this point in life, interest often shows itself through patience, not urgency. Notice if he asks gentle follow-up questions, not big dramatic ones. Simple ones that show he remembered something you said earlier, a detail about your day, a place you love, a small thing that matters to you. When a man remembers, it is rarely random. Memory is attention stretched over time. It means you stayed with him even when you were not there. Also notice how he responds to your emotions. When you share something meaningful, does he slow down? Does his face soften? Does he listen without cutting you off or trying to fix everything? That kind of listening is a form of intimacy. Sometimes interest shows up as quiet protection, not control, just awareness. He notices when you are tired. He checks if you got home safely. He adjusts his walking pace to match yours. These are small things, but they are chosen. They say you matter to me without expecting something in return. And then there is laughter, not sharp jokes meant to show off, but shared laughter. That feels easy. The kind that just appears and makes the space between you feel lighter. When a man laughs with you rather than at you, when that laughter brings you closer instead of pushing you away, it is another gentle sign. It means he feels safe enough to lower his guard a bit. You might also notice moments when he shares something personal, but carefully, in pieces, not all at once. A small truth, a quiet worry, a real feeling, but offered slowly. This is how trust grows. Many men open in layers. Each small truth is a test. Can I be myself here? If you meet that with calm understanding instead of shock or judgment, he relaxes. He feels seen. Many women miss all of this because they are waiting for big, clear words. But real clarity often comes through what he does again and again. Through how he shows up, through how he treats you when no one else is there to watch, through a steady warmth that does not vanish after one conversation. It is just as important to pay attention to how you feel around him. Do you feel more like yourself? Do you feel peaceful, seen, and at ease? Attraction at this stage is usually not a storm. It is not chaos. It feels grounding. It feels like you are coming home to yourself, not losing yourself. When you answer these signals with openness instead of fear, something beautiful can happen. You create a space where connection can deepen naturally. You do not chase. You do not perform. You simply remain available. Available does not mean unprotected. It means emotionally present, aware, and receptive. It means he is not just hearing your words. He is allowed to feel your presence. And in that kind of space, real love still has room to grow.